The Orias Initiative, Part 4. Quinn was sitting alone, in the dark. He was angry, mostly with himself, but with everyone else too, including Maya. When he thinks about Maya, it hurts so badly that he almost can't bear. Quinn remembered the sight of her fading from far over the gates of the facility, and deeply he hoped she survived somehow. That Maya really knew what she was doing, and soon enough she was going to be back to him. He heard the knock at his door once again, and had to control his anger to not yell at Mira outside to leave him alone. "Please, let me in." "I can help you to feel better," Mira said sadly from outside. "Go away, please," he answered at his best, a sad voice that finished the sentence with hoarseness. This time she didn't insist. Mira walked away towards the party happening outside without him. Quinn was now inside a cave near a cliff, and he could barely hear the sea waves hitting the rock, so deep they were inside the ground, but somehow focus on that sound was calming him a little. He touched his neck again, feeling the freedom of not having that stupid collar around, but he couldn't celebrate with the others. What he lost was a lot more precious to him than his freedom. The day before, they performed the largest mass-scale escape from an Orias prison ever witnessed in history, and there were agents all over, looking for them, with Nexa drones searching for the runners everywhere. The news were scaring people, and Quinn didn't want to watch for long, but their group had to keep themselves informed as much as they could. They didn't have a name. They didn't need one. They were survivors, running forever and living their freedom the best they can, but they were organized enough to keep themselves out of track and be capable to organize and executing some rescues. In the end of the day, over 200 ghosts escaped the facility that day, and lots of them were hiding in those caves, including the leaders and responsible for the rebellion, Damien and Mira. And Maya, if she had survived. Quinn had so many questions. When Maya organized that, how she did it, he didn't know. He had no idea. But most of it, he wanted her back. He wished she was there, celebrating with them her victory. Their truck easily passed the agents' attacks on the run. Without their collars, there was nothing Nexa could do besides beep an alert, and it was all finished before even starting. They went to the coast, where Adrian, that lately Quinn found out was Damien's older brother, was waiting for them with a boat. It was the oldest ship Quinn had ever seen, with technologies probably older than him or even his parents, but gladly, completely independent on Nexa or any other similar artificial intelligence that could connect with her. Adrian was obviously experienced in sailing, and his group quickly pulled their truck inside the sea to destroy evidence of their presence. The high tide would later help to cover any tracks in the sand, and even if they were followed until the coast, they wouldn't know where they were. They sailed during the whole night until it was almost dawn, when they arrived to that inhospitable cave surrounded by woods and with a cold wind that was chilling him to the bones, where they were celebrating until then. Quinn couldn't talk much with Mira since she was in the captain cabin with Damien and his brother, so he couldn't ask anything about Maya, but her absence was answering enough. He waited for her to arrive there, in another boat or whatever, but as the morning was advancing, Quinn's hope was decreasing, and eventually he just locked himself anywhere and stood there. In the next following hours, his colleagues tried to talk to him, Mira too a couple of times, and even Adrian tried, even not knowing him at all, but Quinn didn't want to interact with any of them. He didn't want anyone to try to make him feel better, he just needed to feel what he was feeling. Maya was with him for so long that he literally couldn't remember much from the time before, how life used to be without her. The emptiness was devastating. Mira tried again the door and yelled from outside, "She will make it. I know that, Quinn. We have a plan." Quinn then opened the door and pulled Mira inside the room, asking, "What plan, Mira? What could have saved her from the next extermination that I saw happening?" Quinn asked angrily. "Maya had backup. Adrian helped her with her injuries. She is strong enough to survive that. Just trust me on this, okay?" "If Adrian helped her, where is she? Why isn't she here right now, Mira?" "Calm down," Mira said, noticing he was losing his temper. "Maybe she just have some minor things to solve. I am going to ask Adrian right now, okay? Then I'll let you know," Mira said, tapping his back and moving sadly to the door. Quinn had no reason to believe she was alive and going back to him, until she was standing right in front of him. He knew his chances. She was shot, then electrocuted by Nexa while going out to open the gate for them, and he saw one of her versions fading, as if her lifetime was indeed over. This type of talent Maya had was exceptionally rare but well documented. They learned about it in their training. But besides her, Quinn had never met anyone capable of doing what Maya does. Not in person, at least. People like her can't travel beyond their own lifetime. His eyes filled with tears, and Quinn cried for a little bit longer. He was tired of crying already, but he couldn't make himself to stop. It was already evening when he heard another knock on the door, and before Quinn could respond, Leo shouted from outside, "You won't believe who just arrived, Quinn." "I know I can't." His voice was a mix of joy and surprise, and for a second Quinn had hope. He went outside the room, and Leo pulled him to the agglomeration of people applauding, Damien, Mira, and for his shock, Maya, standing in front of them all, alone, tired and dirty. "Wait, how?" Quinn whispered, and Leo shouted, calling Maya's attention. He watched her cross the crowd, tapping her back and congratulating her, but keeping her eyes fixed at Quinn's, and when she was close enough to almost touch him, he called her name. "Maya!" They hugged each other as if it was the last thing they would do on Earth. Quinn didn't notice anyone around them. He didn't care at all. He only kept his eyes on her, not believing in what he was seeing. "Babe, how?" "I saw you fading. You haven't come back since yesterday. I thought you were dead." "No one can survive that field. How could you?" "Oh, Quinn, I can explain everything, but later. Now I just want to enjoy our victory and freedom," Maya answered, hugging him and kissing him fiercely. Her lips were soft as always, but her kiss was different, more intense and passionate than Quinn was used to, and he enjoyed each second of it. Quinn stared at her, holding Maya's cheeks between his palms, still not believing she was there. She was smiling at him with bright eyes and a huge, genuine smile. "I missed you, Maya. You look so pretty." "No, I don't," Maya said, laughing. "You have a new scar, right here," Quinn said affectuously, touching the base of her nose with the tip of his finger, teasing her. Before Maya could answer, they were interrupted by Damien, saying, "I am glad you two are together again. I was almost concerned about your boyfriend Maya, but I knew it was just a matter of time until you show up." "At least I had hope you would." "I had hope too. Gladly, here I am," Maya said, smiling mysteriously. "How did you survive?" Damien asked. "Oh, ask your brother. He helped me with it," Maya answered quickly, pulling Quinn out of the crowd and leading him to a private space, while Mira was joining Damien and pulling him back to the celebration at the opposite side. "Why did you take so long, babe?" Quinn asked once they were alone again. "I didn't. You just have no patience at all," Maya answered, jumping over him and kissing him fiercely. They made love and spent the night between kisses, naps, and conversations about what they were going to do from now on. Now that they had the opportunity to be free, and they could choose to live any life, do whatever they want to do, to go anywhere, what are they going to choose? The fact was that they would have to run away from people and big cities for the rest of their days, but there were plenty of other options too. In the morning, they woke up with Damien at their door. "Maya, Ellis wants to speak with you," Damien said, seriously from the door. "Fine, give me a couple minutes so I can get dressed," she answered, annoyed. "Is everything okay, babe?" Quinn asked. "Yes, honey. He probably wants information about how we did it, Mira and I, to organize the escape," Maya answered. "Wasn't he helping?" "I thought he was a sort of a leader or something," Quinn asked, putting his pants on. "He is. That's probably why he wants information. He will very likely try to do it in other facilities too." "No big deal. You don't have to go with me if you don't want to, Quinn." "I do. I won't leave you side ever again. You scared me to death yesterday. I thought I had lost you." "No way I am leaving you for any reasons ever," Quinn answered. Maya and Quinn walked holding hands through the tunnels back to the center of the cave, and Maya was leading as if she knew that place as the palm of her hand. Adrian, Ellis, Damien, and Mira were waiting for them in the kitchen, getting breakfast to take to their meeting. "This place is so organized. I am impressed." Quinn spoke out loud. "Thank you. I try to keep everyone working and participating of the activities. It is hard to live hiding. People need some sense of routine and normality," Adrian answered. "Mira, are you okay? You look tired today," Quinn asked, suddenly noticing she was pale, had prominent dark circles under her eyes, and was moving slowly. "I am fine. You don't have to worry about me," she answered seriously. Maya hugged Mira quickly and kissed her forehead, saying, "Don't worry. Everything is going to be fine now." Mira didn't answer and walked away from everyone, avoiding Damien's contact on the way. "Do you think they had a fight?" Quinn whispered to Maya, which gave him a, I don't know, facial expression. They went to a room with a table and some chairs, none of them matching with the other, but comfortable enough to them to eat their food. "So I want you guys to talk to me today about this escape. I wasn't aware of anything and didn't get a clue until it was already happening. I want an explanation," Ellis said. "Does it offend you?" Maya asked, seriously. "What?" "The fact that we organized the escape without your help or permission to do it," Maya completed. "Please be kind to Ellis, Maya," Damien said, exasperated. "It's okay, young man. You don't have to worry about me, I can handle," Ellis answered. "No, I am not offended, Maya. I just didn't understand why that wasn't properly synchronized. Maybe more people could have run away if we did it right. It was done good enough to save over 200 people. I think they did it right," Adrian said with a half smile. Maya smiled him and Adrian blinked at her. 200 is a good number, but there were thousands there. That could also be saved if these girls didn't decide to do all by themselves. And don't you dare to try to defend her, Damien, Ellis said when Damien started to speak. "I know you didn't know about it too." "If I didn't, my brother Adrian would not be involved, Ellis. Please don't exaggerate." "Fine, valid point, but I'm talking to this girls here," Ellis said while pointing Maya, "and not you, so stop interfering and let me talk to her." Maya sat straight in her chair, looked Ellis calmly and said, "The reason we didn't tell people about it is very simple, because I don't trust people." "Not even Mira knew the whole plan until the last minute, right, sis?" Maya said, looking at Mira, who was sadly staring the table and only nodded her head. "Everyone had a part of the plan, not the whole, so if someone decided to betray the rebellion, then at least not everything would be compromised," Maya said. "She did it the smartest way, believe it, old man. She had plenty of time to evaluate all the possibilities and even test some and created the perfect plan," a man said from the corner of the room. "Until then, no one noticed the presence of that man. He was black, around 50 years old, and was wearing a dark blue cape that covered his body. Meet Samuel, guys. He is one of the oldest ghosts in here and a great counselor of mine to lead this colony," Adrian said, making the man laugh. "Me and Samuel discussed the plan enough to make sure it was going to work, and it did. Here we are." "What else do you want, Ellis?" Maya asked. "We could have saved more people," Ellis shouted. "And what makes you think it was part of the plan?" Samuel said, laughing again. Ellis was shocked, staring at him and blinking, confused about his statement. "Your mission was political, old man, but not hers. She just wanted freedom to her friends and family, with the extra of rescuing some people on the way. And that answers your question," Samuel said and walked away, stealing a bread from Damien's plate before going out to the tunnels. "I don't like this guy," Damien complained. "But I do, brother. He is very useful and has lots of knowledge that help the colony more often than you imagine. Just let him be," Adrian answered. "Why didn't you told everything from the beginning, Maya?" Mira suddenly asked, looking clearly upset with her sister. "Because you would not have the time I had to comprehend and process everything like I did, and you needed to be ready and do everything you were supposed to do," Maya answered calmly. "Well, and what can we do to help other people in the Orias prisons?" Ellis asked, ignoring their conversation. "Nothing." This time Mira answered. "There is nothing to be done for them," and Mira walked away from the room. Maya went after her, and before Damien could follow, Adrian held his brother's arm and shaked his head. Quinn didn't know what was happening, but he was starting to be concerned about everything. Why Mira was so upset now? She seemed to be happy the day before, even more after seeing Maya. They didn't talk to each other much since Maya was with him all the time. What was going on after all? He was lost on his thoughts when Samuel approached him. "Your girl is something special, you should feel lucky. Smart and brave enough to do what she has to do," Samuel said. "What do you know about this?" Quinn asked. "Why don't you ask her first?" he said, pointing to Maya that was coming over. "Tell him what you have done. He deserves to know," Samuel said, sitting comfortably by Quinn's side and smiling at Maya. "Yes, babe. Tell me, please," Quinn said without thinking about it. Maya stared at him for a second and then nodded her head. "Fine, I will tell you everything. It started one day before the mission. I really didn't know anything about Mira, and it was just to find out about her that I wanted to go. But then, something happened. A version of me showed up in my room that night. I had to run there because the pain was unbearable, but you didn't even notice me leaving your room. It doesn't matter, so I was shot and bleeding and burning, and I only had like 2 seconds to grab my own hand, receive all the information about my own plan, and actually know what to do. Gladly, the collar was deactivated because Maya hesitated for a second, but then continued speaking. Well, I believe it was the electrocution that broke it. It doesn't matter. So I put the deactivated collar in my neck and started to travel. I knew what I had to do, in all details, but I only knew because I lived it, and I only lived it because I knew, which means I had to figure it out how to have all the ideas, the right ones, necessary to make it work. First, I traveled here, because I knew that was our final stop. Then I had to learn how to get here. That's how I met Adrian, even knowing all about him through Damien, and I told him my plan and everything I can do. Well, almost everything. He introduced me Samuel. That helped me a lot too, and... How? Be more specific, Ellis asked from behind Maya. He wasn't noticed by anyone else there, and his presence pissed Maya off. "Are you following me now?" she shouted. "I helped her because I can do what she does," Samuel said, slowly, letting the information to set in Ellis' mind. "That's true. He told me very important information for the plan, and my survival," Maya said, still annoyed. Ellis seemed shocked again, so she ignored him and continued to talk to Quinn. Pretty much, Adrian was taking care of the truck outside and the boat, so I went back to the time and place in the last rebellion, and I passed information to Mira. I told her the day and time and what she had to do. I asked Damien about Adrian because I needed to learn that, otherwise I couldn't know, and consequently speak with him, and we wanted that boat. Honestly, most of my time I spent in the facility, getting the passwords, door keys, equipment to unlock the collars, everything I could collect, and passing to Mira. They walked away as if it was their own home. "Wait, all this in one night?" Quinn asked. "Honey, this night took 6 months of my life," Maya answered, making Samuel to laugh out loud. "Wow, that's a lot," Ellis commented, looking at Maya with something that seemed to be pity. "I am used to it," Maya answered. "So after using our last mission as a disguise to solve everything with Mira and Damien, and also to infiltrate in the facility, I thought everything was going to shit when that officer recognized me, but just because I briefly forget it was going to work perfectly. Then I just had to make things happen, give myself some tries. I had to repeat our first escape a couple times, because I didn't want to be shot. But if I wasn't, then you would be, Quinn, and the outcome was poor. I got Thalia, gave her the instructions and the door keys, the rest of our team, did all distractions I had to, took down half dozen of idiots, and went to the gate to open for you guys. Last stop was back to my room with all the information I needed and the script ready. That was it." Maya finished. "I feel like you aren't telling us all, girl," Ellis said. "I feel like you can go screw yourself, Ellis," Maya answered, making Samuel guffaw. She is being modest. It took her some travels and different attempts to make the script to work perfectly. One detail she misses, one wrong step, and people could react differently, and then she had to go back in time and try again. We spent long hours discussing about every minimal detail so everything would be as perfect as it could be. Do you have any idea of how many bullets she took in the process? How many times she had to die?" Samuel said, hostile. His tone was slowly raising, and Ellis finally understood that his comments weren't welcome anymore. "What do you mean with how many times you had to die?" Quinn asked. "I didn't die, I am here, right? Now can we just be happy and free and enjoy a little? This conversation is giving me headaches," Maya said. To be continued.
Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe.